وَبَعْدُ, thereafter. Now let me ask you. We just sticking to the English here, or we're going to tackle the
No, we
Arabic
might
too?
as well.
Okay.
We're attacking the Arabic as well, inshallah.
I said tackle though, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're tackling the Arabic as well.
Inshallah. طيب. وبعد, thereafter. فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحيض. The Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said about menstruation, هذا شيء كتبه الله على بنات آدم. رواه الشيخان. This is a matter that Allah ordained upon the daughters of Adam. Al-Bukhari and Muslim narrated that. Ash-Shaykhan. You're familiar with Ash-Shaykhan? The term
No.
Ash-Shaykhan. So you know that's a
Mm-mm.
muthanna. Ash-Shaykhan. The two sheikhs.
Oh, okay. Right, that is Mukanna. So when we refer to as Sheikhan, it's Al Bukhari and Muslim.
In hadith science.
Okay.
Not always.
Okay.
Depends on science. Okay, so this is a matter that Allah ordained upon the daughters of Adam. So it appears from this then that it does not pertain to Eve.
The sons of Adam. Oh. Oh! Wait, I'm be quiet. Oh!
Yes. MashaAllah.
Oh, mashallah. Okay.
وباب الحيض والنفاس والاستحاضة من الأبواب المهمة. The chapter of menstruation, postpartum bleeding, and defective bleeding or sickness bleeding is among the important matters. Not matters, chapters. Chapters is among the important chapters. Al-abwab. Abwab is plural of bab. Bab here means chapter. Because the chapter in a book or a subject is a portal. It's a portal from one place to another place. One subject to another subject. So now we're in this subject here. This is amongst the important chapters. التي ينبغي العناية بتعلمها. The important chapters that one ought to pay special attention to. Pay special attention to learning. That one ought to, should, ينبغي, pay عناية, heed, give heed to بتعلمها, to learning it. وذلك لعموم البلوى, due to the prevailing hardship resulting from it. Yani the general balwa, like calamity, hardship. Yani that's it's clear, means that it's confusing case a lot of times. So this is important to learn. وذلك لعموم البلوى بها, due to the prevailing hardship resulting from it. ولكثرة الأحكام الشرعية المترتبة عليها, and due to the many religious rules that are attached to it. I'll let you pick out any words you need to pick out, inshallah. بالنسبة للطهارة والصلاة والصيام والحج, such as, or pertaining to, بالنسبة, says such as here though. Such as, huh?
Binisbati means pertaining to?
Yeah, or related to. Related to. Yeah, that's even better. Related to. And due to the many religious rules that are attached to it, relating to purification, prayers, fasting, and pilgrimage. uh, بالنسبة للطهارة والصلاة والصيام والحج وغير ذلك كالطلاق والوطأ, as well as other matters such as divorce and sexual intercourse. Okay. فكان من الواجب تعلم شيء من أحكام الحيض. This is why it is obligatory to learn some of the judgments of menstruation. So, لِالْتِزَامِ شَرْعِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, so that one would be conforming to what Allah the Exalted revealed.
I have a عندي سؤال شيخ. Menstruation الحيض هذا فرض كفاية, is it a personal obligation on the woman or on the woman only, or is it a fardu, or is it a personal obligation in general, number one? And then number two, is it a personal obligation on the woman or a personal obligation on both? Because it says if the husband knows, then he can teach her. Otherwise, it's permissible for her to ask and seek a house of knowledge.
So, could be for a woman that is a personal obligation on her. Her case demands of her that she learns.
Okay.
And it could be that it is a personal obligation on a man if the situation warrants for that. Like he has to learn it because nobody knows it.
Okay.
But it's going to be communal obligation except for whoever needs it immediately or personally. I want to adjust this though here. This is why it is obligatory to learn some of the judgments of menstruation. Here. 2. Conform to the law of Allah the Exalted. There. لِالْتِزَامِ شَرْعِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. وقد أدى جهل بعض النساء بهذه الأحكام إلى ترك الصلاة في أوقات تلزمها فيها الصلاة. Surely, some women's ignorance of these rules led them to abandon the prayer at times when the prayer is obligatory. وهذا خطر عظيم لا تكون معالجته إلا بالعلم. This is a great danger that is not cured by anything but knowledge. وقد قال الله تعالى, Allah the Exalted said, ويسألونك عن المحيض قل هو أذى فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله. They ask you.
Sorry, I know it's not Quran, but can I say it and then you?
Sure. You want to recite the ayah?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have all the harakats, so.
You want me to say it first and repeat?
Yes, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
ويسألونك عن المحيض.
ويسألونك عن المحيض.
There's Hamza here. Make that Hamza clear. ويسألونك عن المحيض.
ويسألونك عن المحيض.
There's no qalqala for the dad.
Okay.
عن المحيض.
عن المحيض.
قل هو أذى.
قل هو أذى.
فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض.
فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض.
Okay. Alif here is just 4 counts.
Okay.
فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض.
فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض.
No qalqala for the dad. Dad's like soft landing. You like you landing on a pillow. في المحيض.
في المحيض.
ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن.
ولا تقرب ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن.
ولا تقربوهن.
ولا تقربوهن.
ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن.
ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن.
فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن.
فإذا تت فإذا تت فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن.
فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن.
فإذا فإذا تطهرن فتوهن.
فأتوهن سكون همزة.
فأتوهن.
فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن.
فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن.
فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله.
فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله.
Yes. They ask you about the menstruation, O Muhammad. Al-Mahid. Al-Mahid here means Al-Hayd. And maybe has some other applications also. So I don't know if there's more details there.
Okay.
قل هو أذى. O Muhammad, say. هو أذى. It is excrement. It is excrement. It's أذى. أذى يعني like, what's أذى? أذى is like urine, feces, snot, earwax.
Oh, like it's like not it's something not pure, but no, not pure,
Yani
but like
something you want to get off of yourself.
okay.
فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض. So refrain from the women, meaning from the sexual intercourse during the menstruation. Not from more than that. Yani, I mean, not from like just being with them, living with them, interacting with them, eating with them, etc., or they're cooking food and things of such. None of that goes here.
For and that's fa'tazilun nisa. That's
Naam.
fa'tazilu. Okay.
ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن. Do not approach them. Yani, al-qurb is closeness. Do not approach them or don't draw near them until they are pure. Now, until they are pure here means until the menses stops. But what's the rule?
The rule as far as sexual, they have to make a ghusl first. The rule is
Yes, they have to do ghusl first. This part here doesn't refer to the ghusl yet.
okay.
This part of the ayah refers to the cessation of the bleeding.
Okay.
Then the next part, فَإِذَا تَطَهَّرْنَ فَأْتُوهُنَّ مِنْ حَيْثُ أَمَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ. Then when they have performed purification, approach them in whatever way Allah has made lawful.
Okay. Then here it's where
Yeah, that's the
um
ghusl. يطهرن, the Menses stop. تطهرن, they performed the ghusl. Any question here?
no.
The author says, rahimahullah, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَعْرِفِ الْحَيْضَ مِنَ الْإِسْتِحَاضَةِ. So, whoever does not know the difference between menstruation and defective bleeding, أو لم يعرف كيف يكون التطهر من الحيض, or does not know how to perform purification from menses, لا يأمن أن يخالف شرع الله, is not safe from opposing the law of Allah. وقد كانت الصحابيات رضوان الله عليهن يسألن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا عرض لهن ما لم يعرفن حكمه إذا عرض لهن ما لم يعرفن حكمه في ذلك فيجيبوهن. One on that, yeah, there.
There's a
فيجيبوهن.
is there a shadda on that hun? That's
Yes,
like that's the pronoun, right?
yes.
Okay.
The female companions used to ask the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about matters they encountered but had no knowledge of their judgments. And he used to answer them. وهذا يدل على اعتنائه صلى الله عليه وسلم ببيان هذه الأحكام. So before that, what's the point of this sentence? The point of this sentence that those women were asking. They weren't just quiet, and they were generally shy women, but they would ask so that they would learn. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would teach them. He would answer them. وهذا يدل على اعتنائه صلى الله عليه وسلم ببيان هذه الأحكام. This indicates, let's just say, this proves the special care that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam provided to clarify these judgments. وَاعْتِنَائِهِنَّ بِالسُّؤَالِ عَنْهَا, and the special care that these female companions gave by asking about them. Yes. Although most of the rules of Menses are taken from the research on the part of the mujtahid, not from hadith and ayat.
Are taken from the research from the
Yeah,
mujtahids?
research on the part of the mujtahid. Each mujtahid did his own research to come to his answers. There are ayat, we just read one. There are hadiths, we just saw one, but not an abundance of them, so that all these details have many hadiths for them. وَهَذِهِ أَوْرَاقٌ فِي هَذَا الشَّأْنِ. These are pages composed to tackle this subject. Yani, that's maybe a little self-indulgent there. That وَهَذِهِ أَوْرَاقٌ. These are pages فِي هَذَا الشَّأْنِ. Yani, in this subject. Okay, I'll leave it this way though. This sha'n, the sha'n is the affair, the issue.
Okay.
فيها بيان شيء من أحكام الحيض والنفاس والاستحاضة. It has clarification of some of the rules of menstruation, postpartum bleeding, defective bleeding, وما يتعلق بها, and what is related to them. والله المسؤول أن يجعل فيها النفع. Allah is the one besought to make it beneficial. So these are pages. What we have here in this file, 62 pages. So it's just a booklet. If you shrink the pages down, it's going to come up to more. Maybe you can, if you shrink it down, you can get up to maybe 80 pages, for example.
Okay.
So that's small though. So these are some of the rules. In the grand scheme of things, just a little bit. But for people like ourselves, it is very abundant with information and more than enough for the most part.
Okay.
Al-Hayd, menstruation. Al-Haydu damu jibillah. Menstruation is a naturally occurring bleeding. Jibillah, it's natural. Yani, that's how Allah created the woman, the human woman, and some other female creatures also. يخرج من فرج المرأة, a naturally occurring bleeding that exits the woman's vagina. على سبيل الصحة, in a healthy manner. That means it's not istihada. من غير سبب الولادة, without being due to childbirth. That means not nifas.
So which one says be naturally occurring bleeding that exits in a healthy manner? That's farahin mil.
على سبيل الصحة, in a healthy way, upon a healthy way. It comes out upon a healthy way. So ala here is translated as in.
And that means not istihada, and then without from childbirth, meaning it's not postpartum.
Yes. So this definition is as it should be, meaning we have 3 types of vaginal bleeding. Mm-hmm. So if each one of them is different from the other, then each one should have its own definition that does not include the other. Right. So this is its definition that exactly excludes the others. So to isolate which one we're talking about. It is a naturally occurring bleeding that exits the woman's vagina in a healthy manner without being due to childbirth. Therefore, it's not a sickness bleeding and it's not a postpartum bleeding. وَأَقَلُّ زَمَنٍ تَحِيضُ فِيهِ الْمَرْأَةِ, the earliest age at which a woman menstruates, تِسْعُ سِنِينَ تقريبا, is approximately 9 lunar years. So she's called here mar'ah. That is by virtue of her menstruating here that she took this word, this name mar'ah, woman.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So then if it were before this age, then what is going to be?
Istihada.
Istihada. There's a rule, very important rule. This rule will get you the answer in many cases. Any bleeding that is possibly menses is menses. Any bleeding that is possibly menses is menses. That's the rule. So you learn what can't be menses.
Istihada and postpartum bleeding.
Postpartum bleeding, yeah. And you learn what's like postpartum bleeding, then you'll know what's the parameters of that. So when a question arises, then you're going to think about all of the variables, and then you're going to say, this is possibly menses. So then if this is possibly menses, then what's the judgment of it?
Then it is
menses. Any bleeding that's possibly menses is menses. Here, this sentence here is not possibly menses. I mean, if it's before that. The question, right. The question we just handled. Mm-hmm. فلو رأت الدم قبل 9 سنين. Hence, if she sees blood before reaching 9 years, فإن كان قبلها بزمن لا يسع حيضا وطهرا, then if that were by a time that does not accommodate both a cycle of menstruation and a cycle of purity, أي رأته قبل 9 بأقل من 16 يوما, she sees the blood before reaching 9 years by less than 16 days, فهو حيض, then it is menstruation. وإلا فهو دم علة, or else it is defective bleeding. All right. So what that means is this. Tell me, what is the minimum duration of menses? And of course, we're going by Shafi'i school here.
Minimum 24 hours.
24 hours. And uh, what is the minimum duration of purity between two menstrual cycles?
15 days.
15 days. That's a total of how many days?
16 total.
16. Total of 16 days. So we're saying if this girl, she saw bleeding, this vaginal bleeding, 16 days or less before becoming 9, then this is menses. 16
Okay.
days, she sees the blood before reaching by less than, not 16 or less, by less than 16 days, by less than 16 days, not 16 or less, by fewer than 16 days. She saw vaginal bleeding by fewer than 16 days before becoming 9. Then this is hayd.
Okay. So let's say before she becomes 9, let's say we're like, if it's so okay, so before she becomes 9, that's a whole month before, so that's 29 to 30 days before she becomes 9, and then now she's into the month by, like, let's say she becomes 9 on the first of the Qa'dah, right? And then right now, we're in Shawwal. The Qa'dah Dhul Hijjah. Wait, is that correct? Shawwal, the Qa'dah Dhul Hijjah. Yeah, I think so.
Use the other months, inshallah.
Okay, so let's say she becomes 9 on the first of Shawwal.
Okay.
And right now, for the example, we're in the let's just say the first of Ramadan. All right, boom. Now it's the 16th of Ramadan, right? Let's just say now it's the 20th of Ramadan, which only gives her 9 or 10 more days before she becomes 9 on the first of Shawwal. If she was
I got you right here. Bismillah. Okay. I have a calendar here.
All right. Okay, beautiful. Okay, mashallah. So boom. Let's say let's say she becomes 9 on the first of Safar.
Okay.
Right? And then right now we're here on the boom. Right now we're here on the 17th of Safar. I mean of Muharram.
Okay.
We're here on the 17th of Muharram. That gives her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, possibly 14 days before she becomes 9. And she sees her period. Well, she sees blood. She sees blood on the 17th day of Muharram. Mm-hmm. And it lasts until the 18th day of Muharram.
Doesn't have to last. I'm not talking about it lasting. Oh, yeah, until the 18th. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, I rushed there.
It has to last until the 20. It has to last 24 hours, right? Because the minimum duration of menstruation is 24 hours.
Yes.
So if because anything less than 24 hours is not menstruation.
Correct.
Is there anything less than 24 hours within a 1 week or 2 week period, or anything less than 24 hours in general?
Anything less than 24 hours.
In a 15-day period?
Doesn't matter. Because it's going to be
Okay.
less than 24 hours.
Right. Okay, so then she bleeds from the 17th to the 18th.
Okay.
This will now be considered menstruation. She bleeds for 24 hours. This will now be
Mm-hmm.
considered menstruation, even
Yes.
though even though it may be like, oh, but she becomes 9 on the first of Safar,
Yes.
but it's still less than 16 days prior to her becoming.
Yes. That's right.
All right. Okay.
That's correct.
I understand.
Now, why is this the rule? Because if it were 16 days or more before she becomes 9, then that's like saying it's valid that she can menstruate before she's 9. Because why? 16 days is enough to accommodate an entire menses and an entire purity. So we're
Right.
saying that she cannot see blood before there's enough time for her to menstruate. Basically, that's what we're saying. She can't, yeah, she could see menses a little bit before she becomes 9, as long as it's not enough time before she became 9 that as if she could have menstruated. That's clear?
You're saying that 16 days is enough to accommodate a full cycle of menses and a full cycle of purity because it's
Yes.
it's it's enough if someone only bleeds for 24 hours and that's it.
Yes.
The whole time. Okay. That's
Yes.
clear. That's clear.
So less than 16 days before becoming 9, then she could menstruate. That's why they say taqrib, approximately.
Okay.
Approximately 9. So the scholars might say the minimum age at which a woman menstruates is 9. They might say it like that. And then others would say is 9, approximately. And that's more accurate.
Okay.
But maybe sometimes you don't want to go into the details. So you don't say approximately. And then somebody's going to ask you, why you say that? And then you have to go into something you didn't want to go into. Notice also here that this istihada has another name. Damu illah. Damu illah. Illah means sickness. Illah is opposite of sihha. Sihha is health.
Okay. So, okay. I get it.
The shades of menstrual blood. وألوان الحيض خمسة. The colors of menstrual blood are 5. Aswad, black. Yani, if we want, we could say blackish, because really it's red.
Right. It's like a really dark shade of red.
Yeah. So we'll say blackish here.
Okay.
Then red, pink, yellow, وأحمر, وأشقر, وأصفر, وأكدر. Red, pink, yellow, and murky.
And murky meaning that like yellowish.
Murky means like the color of soil,
Gotcha.
or like the color of blood that comes out of meat.
Okay.
والمراد بالأسود الأحمر الذي من شدته يضرب إلى السواد. What is meant by the aswad black is the red.
What color? What word is murky? What ekdar?
Akdar. Mm-hmm. Akdar. So what is meant by aswad black is the red, al-ahmar, the red that is so deep that it leans towards blackness. So even we left it black, the book explains itself.
Right.
Just one line down, then the person's going to get the explanation.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, Lal aswadu safi. It is not pure black. فإنه لا يعد حيضا. For that is not considered menstruation. Had something purely black come out, it is not menses.
Okay.
وبال
Okay.
وبالأشقر الأحمر المشرق. And what is meant by ashqar is the bright or brilliant red, meaning pink. Yani like, yeah, mushriq means bright, like how the sun is bright.
Mm-hmm.
So
And what word is that? Mushriq?
mushriq. Mm, yeah. So what's meant by ashqar, which we translated as pink, is al-ahmar al-mushriq. What is a brilliant red or a bright red. So you have aswad, black, ahmar, red, ashqar, we're saying here pink. All of it is red, yani some shade of red.
Right.
والأكدر ما لونه قريب من لون التراب. The akdar murky is that which its color is close to, let's say, it's close to that of soil.
Okay.
وفي حكم الأسود ما فيه خطوط سود. I think this could take another line here. It's important detail, but I'm not going to break it for now.
Okay.
Furthermore, the blood that has black streaks is judged as black. وفي حكم الأحمر ما فيه خطوط حمر وهكذا. And likewise, what has red streaks is judged as red, and so on. Let me see something here. Furthermore, the blood that has black streaks is judged as black, meaning if there were some red blood, so we have these 5 colors. We name them in the order of their strength: black, red, pink, yellow, murky. So what if you then had red blood, but it had black lines in it, or a black line in it, or even a black dot in it only? Then it's judged all of it as black blood. Or what if you had pink blood and it had in it a streak of red blood or even a dot of red blood? Then all of it is judged as red. And like that. If there was yellow blood and it had in it streak of or dot of pink blood, then all of it is judged as pink, etc.
Okay, understood.
الصفرة والقدرة, the yellowish and murky colors. الراجح أن الصفرة والقدرة في أيام إمكان الحيض يعتبران حيضا. The weighty opinion is that the yellowish and murky colors that appear during days that are possibly menstruation are considered menstruation based on that rule. Meaning, there's a rule, which is what I already shared with you. Anything that's possibly menses is menses. So the question is, so the yellow and the murky, that's blood? That's height? So they differed here. So the strong saying is that, yes, if this appears in days that are possibly menses, then it's menses. فإن رأت المرأة شيئا من ذلك فعد فتعده حيضا. Thus, if a woman sees any of that, she considers it, let's say, she counts it as menstruation. تعده من العد, which is number or count.
Okay. What word is that?
تعده, عد يعد, هي تعد.
Right, right.
فإن رأت المرأة شيئا من ذلك فتعده حيضا. If the woman sees any of that, anything like that, if she sees anything of that, فتعده, then she counts it حيضا, as menstruation. لأنهما من ألوان الحيض. SubhanAllah. Because they belong to the colors of menstruation. وقال بعض الشافعية, some Shafi'i scholars said, إنها إن رأت ذلك بعد أيام عادتها لا تعتبره حيضا. Some Shafi'i scholars said that if she sees any of that, the yellow and the murky, after the days of her menstrual habit, her normal menstruation, maybe that's clearer, after the days of her normal menstruation.
But here, right, could it be possible that, for example, if someone wasn't aware of the colors of menstruation, right? Prior to that. And then they just always thought like, so then let's say it always started off black, then red, and then murky, and ends with like a murky and a yellow. And they always thought like, oh, once it gets to yellow, oh, it's not menstruation, right? So then they consider their habit 7 to 10, like maybe 7 days or whatever. But it always was like that, which would mean their habit, like their actual count really was including that murky. Does that make sense?
I didn't follow.
Oh. So like let's say prior to someone learning about their about learning about the colors of menstruation, they consider their habit to be shorter. I mean they consider their menstrual cycle to be shorter than what it basically actually was.
Because they didn't count the murky and the yellow?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard about this.
Okay.
Here, I want to underline this in the Arabic too. Bismillah. فإن رأت ذلك بعد أيام عادتها, after the days of her normal menstruation, then she does not consider it menstruation. That's a saying. So what does a woman have then? She had.
Yours said you فإن رأت, is should we add it in there, or is it like kind of implied, or am I missing it?
وقال
Started
بعض
بعد.
الشافعية
Mm-hmm.
إنها إن رأت ذلك
بعد.
بعد أيام عادتها لا تعتبره حيضا.
That's the same. Okay, that's okay. All right, I'm following now.
Yeah. So what does a woman have? She has a religious judgment for her menses, and she has a personal norm, usually, unless her case is unstable. She has a personal norm. So by default, she goes by religious judgment, not by personal norm. But it's important for her to keep track of her norm. For when the religious judgment itself defaults to her norm, meaning sometimes a woman is going to experience sickness bleeding in such a way that she cannot tell the difference between the sickness bleeding and the menstrual bleeding. All of it came out the same way. And according to observation, she has no way to pinpoint when it shifted from menses to sickness bleeding. Yani, had the color changed, had it went, if she had bled 16 days, and some of that was black, and then the rest of it was red, then she's going to know by observation that she's going to know by observation when it shifted from menses to istihaba. But when it all comes out the same way, she cannot tell by observation. So then what she's going to resort to? Now she's going to resort to her norm. Now this is when she's going to say, I usually menstruate for so many days. Now I'm in day 16. So I know for sure it's not all menses. And when did it start? I have no physical indication of that. Therefore, the rule is that I resort to my norm. And my norm is so many days, so I'm going to judge that my istihaba started at day such and such. Now I'm going to do my ghusl and make up my prayers from then. So this is a case where her norm is relevant, but her norm, the religious judgment is going to have to make way for her to use her norm. Otherwise, she's not going to use her norm. She's going to use religious judgment.
Okay.
So this case here is a nice case to understand this. We are saying there's 5 colors, and some said that there's a detail, which is that 2 of these 5 colors, if they appear after the woman's norm, that's not menses. So then the other saying is, if they appear in days that are possibly menses, then that's menses. And we are saying that's the stronger saying, this last one.
The saying that if it appears in days that could be menses, then it is menses?
Yes.
Okay.
Why are we saying both of them? Maybe one day you're going to help somebody out. Say, well, there's a judgment. Some scholars said, and then maybe makes it easier for someone. All right. So we should probably stop there.
Yes.
Inshallah ta'ala.